Quiz A. So if we take a look at this, you should have, for all of your questions, had your units shown. You should have highlighted everything in the question according to your conversion chart, and then you should have your final answer circled. So we're going to make sure we do that on this video. So number one, which is the mass? It's kind of a weird word to say, but what is the mass of 8 moles of sodium chloride? So mass I highlighted in green, 8 moles, pink, and then sodium chloride is our compound. So if we need the molar mass, that's what we have to find the molar mass of. And lucky for you, we gave you the molar mass of anything you might have needed for your quizzes. So hopefully you took a look at that during your quiz. So first thing, go ahead and start with whatever you are given. So 8 moles. And set up your dimensional analysis. So we're going from moles to mass. So if you take a look at your conversion chart, moles to mass, I'm going to follow this top arrow. That means this is the equation that I need to plug in. So the molar mass of sodium chloride is on your sheet. Sodium chloride, 58.44 grams over 1 mole. Moles is going to cancel out. You're going to be left in grams, which is the unit that we want. So all you have to do next is plug this into your calculator. So 8 times 58.44. That's going to give you 467.52. Now that's not in scientific notation, so we do need to change it. I'm going to go ahead and write that down before I change it into scientific notation. So I'm going to have to move my decimal point so I have some number between 1 and 10. So move it once and move it twice. I'm going to end up with 4.68, right? Because that is a 5, so I'm going to round up the next number. 4.68 times 10, and I move my decimal point 1 spot, 2 spots, to the second power. And that is a positive number because this is a very large number. The unit I ended up in is grams. Final answer. Alright, let's move on to number 2. How many formula units, and that's one of our particles, formula units, are in 1.946 moles of sodium chloride, NaCl? So we're going from formula units. Oh, excuse me. Let's write down what we're starting with first. So 1.946 moles. So we are starting with moles, right? So pink, and we want to go to formula units, which is blue. So following your arrow, this is the equation that I'm going to plug in. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles over 1 mole. And that's all I have to do. So even though I highlighted sodium chloride in this in yellow, there's actually no point where I needed the molar mass for this equation. So keep that in mind. Just because you highlight the compound or the element, it doesn't necessarily mean that you also are going to have to use the molar mass. I saw a lot of students starting with highlighting the compound or the element and then starting with the number that is the molar mass. And nowhere should you do that. Okay? You want to start with whatever it's given to you in your problem. So let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. So I'm going to have 1.946 multiplied by 6.02 times 10, so your exponent button, to the 23rd. If you have a different teacher and you have a different calculator, hopefully you know how to use your calculator, and maybe you have something that looks like this, and you need to use that little exponent button. Okay, equals. And this answer is given to you in scientific notation, so 1.17, and I'm going to keep that 7 because the next number is a 1, so I'm not going to have to round up, times 10 to the 24th power. And the units are formula units, so FUs, and that's your final answer. Backside. Number 3, how many moles, which is pink, of a G, and again, for this one, you don't even need to know what element that is, but it is silver, in case you're curious. How many moles of Ag are contained in 4.49 times 10 to the 23rd atoms? So write down what you start with, 4.49 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. Okay? And then if you take a look at your chart, you are going to start in blue, and you need to work back to moles. So following your arrows, you're going to use this top equation here, and there's nothing that you need to plug in. So 1 mole, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles equals. So just a 2-step problem. Excuse me, a 1-step problem. So even easier than that. Atoms, particles, those cancel out. I'm left in moles, and that's what I want. So plug that into your calculator. 4.49 times 10 to the 23rd divided by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And it gives us a really small number. So we are going to have to change this into scientific notation. 0.745847, and we don't have to write the whole thing because, again, we're only rounding to 2 decimal points anyways. So to change this into scientific notation, I'm going to move my decimal point only 1 spot, so I get 7.46, because this is greater than a 5, times 10 to the negative first moles, because that's a really small number. Okay, question number 4. Copper is a transition element used in the making of coins. Calculate the mass in grams of 0.042 moles of copper. So start with what you're given, 0.0420 moles. And then see where you are in your conversion chart. So we're going from moles back to mass. If you follow your arrow, you're going to use this top equation here. So we do need the molar mass of copper, which is on your sheet. 63.54 grams over 1 mole. Just a 1-step problem. Go ahead and put that in your calculator. Okay, so you're going to end up with 2.67 grams. And your number is between 1 and 10, so you don't have to change it into scientific notation. You just need to make sure that you round to 2 decimal places. And then you end up in grams based on what you highlighted in your problem. Last question. A balloon contains 4.5 times 10 to the 22nd atoms of helium gas. Calculate the mass of helium in grams. So start with what you're given, 4.50 times 10 to the 22nd atoms. And set up your problem. So we're going from atoms or particles all the way back to mass. So this is going to be a 2-step problem. So if you take a look at where particles is, follow your arrows. You're going to use this first, get to moles, second arrow, second equation. 1 mole over 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles. Last part of your equation, you do need the molar mass of helium. So you're going to take a look at your sheet. Molar mass of helium is 4.00 grams over 1 mole. Take all that information, plug it into your calculator. So you're going to take 4.5 times 10 to the 22nd, divide that by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, or particles, and then multiply that answer by 4. Okay, and it does give you a really small number, so again, you're going to have to change that into scientific notation. 0.29900. So, to move my decimal point to get a number between 1 and 10, I'm going to have 2.99, and I don't round that up because the next number is a 0, times 10 to the negative first, and the unit is grams. So if you have any questions, ask me, ask Mr. Huizinga, ask any chemistry person.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask him. Don't ask anyone. Just figure it out on yourself, kid.